5 northbound with a Quebec.
Hear me?
Yes, I can.
And last calling ground at ramp 5 to 4. Charlie.
Good looking guys.
3,
Yeah, you are. So what's Elfie think about this?
Oh, she's thrilled for it.
Is,
Yep. Jealous that she can't go. Well, one day.
well, yeah. Do a trip for lunch or somewhere.
Yeah.
Go to
Valley ground,
Catalina Island for lunch and on our way to
that
come
would
back.
be cool.
That'd be cool.
To the northeast.
Have you been there?
We have. It's one of the places we love to go. It's such a...
Yes, sir, we're going to Miranda Alpha Victor Quebec 20.7 Pilatus 208 Charlie Golf.
Good morning, Valley ground, Saratoga 301, Papa Sierra, ramp 8, VFR westbound, Quebec.
Saratoga 301, Papa Sierra, Deer Valley ground. Good morning. Taxi northwest front up area via Alpha and advise rental complete.
Northwest front up area, Alpha, will advise on Papa Sierra.
Who's that, Charlie 6?
S108.
So if you put your feet at the bottom of those pedals, the rudders, see if you could, I'm going to maybe kind of follow me.
Yep, I can see what you're doing.
7 right.
If you could keep us straight.
Charlie 3, taxi via Charlie. S108.
I don't think I've ever had anybody taxi.
Hold short 7 right at Bravo 9.
I believe how great of a day today
Oh,
is.
it's just not a cloud in the sky.
No. Why I moved here. Because you're from here? You're not originally from here, are you?
No, we moved here from Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Toronto.
Have you taxied before?
Never.
Oh, the first time I did it, or anybody, we overcorrect. You're doing good.
Got a
See,
at Copperhills that is commander at Luke Air Force Base.
oh really?
And he said, I said, I want to come out and see what you do sometime. So he's a, what is A-10 Warthog.
No way.
Yeah, so but he has, I'll let you do that. Yeah. So he has 2,000 airmen under his command.
Wow.
And so he said, well, come out sometime. So Elf and I went out, and he called me the day before. He says, I need you to come out 15 minutes earlier tonight. Okay. So we go out, and he meets us at the gate, drives us in, pulls up to this nondescript building, and there's security all the way around it. And he goes in and he says, okay, you got to leave your phone, your watch, everything electronic out here, and then we're going to go in. Well, he took us into the flight simulator lab. And he gave us an hour on an F-15 simulator.
Oh, how cool is that?
That was incredible.
Were you able to do it?
I was. Not flawlessly by any means. Of course, the hardest
And it was full motion?
Yep. Mm-hmm. The hardest part, of course, is landing.
Yeah.
And he had to help me with that.
Were you able to do any maneuvers? Like, did the thing,
Yep.
could you do rolls on it?
Yep. Could do rolls. He started me on the end of the runway, and he said, this is like, he's talking me through it, right?
Yeah.
In 3 seconds, we're up to 180 miles an hour.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like the G-force is just incredible. And he said,
and you could feel it or no in the simulator?
Yeah, you can't, like visually you can. Like you can't physically in your body feel it, but you have that sense because you're inside this thing where it's real pictures of what you're doing. And so he says, now pull up hard. So pull up, and they're going vertical. It's an incredible experience.
So how is it that you're okay with all that?
I don't know.
So maybe, I can't say you missed your calling because that's not your calling, but you could have been a fighter pilot. We were like a Sky Harbor.
301 Papa Sierra, runway 7 left, line from wait, traffic Archer, 2 mile final.
7 left, line up and wait, 1 Papa Sierra.
Cherokee 507 Alpha Fox, follow the Archer, they're left crossing at Cape Creek Road.
You gotta give that guy a little head start because I'm gonna catch up to him.
Saratoga 301 Papa Sierra, fly straight out, runway 7 left, clear for takeoff.
7 left, clear for takeoff, 1 Papa Sierra.
There she goes.
7 left, clear touching low, then fly straight out.
Clear touchdown, go flight break out 7 left, Elton 224.
Almost like an F-18.
52, you're number 2, you're following Archer, I-17 final. There will also be one departure prior to your arrival. Runway 7 left, clear touching low, then fly straight out.
Okay, clear touch to go 7 left, then fly straight out. 52.
Cherokee 7 Alpha Fox, turn crosswind.
Turning crosswind 507 Alpha Foxtrot.
Harrison 586, follow Cherokee ahead on the upwind. They're going to be starting their crosswind.
All looks so different from up here.
So 586.
McDowell Mountains.
Yeah.
Scottsdale's right over there.
Cessna 84210 holding short, Alpha 4 ready for takeoff.
Saratoga 301 Papa Sierra left downwind departure westbound approved.
Left downwind departure 1 Pop Sierra.
Harrison 204 extend upwind.
So I went around those mountains and then just came back.
Okay, yeah. So how long a flight is it to Sedona?
Like 30 minutes.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
But we're gonna go. We'll go around like by the church.
Yep.
Do you have the?
Inside Elton 204.
In fact, I'll just fly over.
Saratoga 301 Papa Sierra, frequency changes approved today.
Frequency change approved. 1 Pop Sierra. Good day. All right, so now we're gonna be flying over Happy Valley Road.
Yeah.
210.
Is that road right there?
Yeah,
And that mountain range is. I live right on the other side of that.
Right on. There's Lake Pleasant in the distance.
Yep. We'll go straight that way, then we'll cut up towards Lake Pleasant.
So is the sky yours, and that you can make determinations where you're going to go, how you're going to go? Do you have to code in a flight plan or anything like that?
I don't have to do that, but I have to stay within the airspace.
Okay.
So I can't go into an airspace that is controlled. Which right now I'm in his airspace, but he said I can go. I'm communicating with him, so I could do this.
Okay.
7 left, Elton 224, looking for traffic.
So this first set of mountains, you're just on the other side of that. Then the next set, that's the mountain to the south of the church. And that's West Wing Mountain in the distance there.
That is? So
to the one to the south is not, that is...
wait, that's West Wind Mountains?
Yeah, so... Yeah, on the other side of the mountain, on this side of your home, then looks like an open field that's being developed.
Yeah.
That is just on the edge of West Wing community.
Yep.
Aviator 40, roger, follow Cessna off your left.
Trucks in sight will follow them, Aviator 40.
In fact, I can see the school, West Wing School, and I can see our church.
945, make a left 360.
Left 360, it's a 945.
Air 586, turn left to the numbers now.
Turn left.
Wait, you could see it, you're saying?
I can see the school, and then I can...
Is that the school? Wait, would it be before this mountain range in front of us?
It's just to the right.
To the right, yeah.
Directly to the right of it.
360, you're following...
Yeah, so my house is... You
You're
should
right
be able
down
to...
here. Yep.
All right, over there. Why isn't this thing
950.
finding my...
Arizona 150 is with you on a 11 mile.
So my house is going to be to the left.
Yeah.
Right.
Dearby Tower, Roger, just remain on the Delta for now, please.
We'll remain outside the Delta Arizona 150.
Somebody's 500 feet below us right there, see him?
Oh, yeah.
So we keep eye on him. All right, so I'm right over our house right now. It's down there.
Yep. And there's the school, and just ahead of it is the church building.
Okay, so that's the school right there?
Yep, that's the school.
And then where's the church?
Just up a little further.
Oh, that building over there?
Yep.
I'm gonna dive right down toward it. Yeah, right there, right?
Yep, that's right. So it's the school, and in the park leads to our building at the end over there.
Tree number 4, follow Archer, heading to your left base at 3 mile final, running 7 left, quick touch and go.
Move traffic at site, 7 left, quick touch, Aviator 52.
Harrison 191, follow Cessna ahead.
Follow traffic, Harrison 191.
Harrison 150, you're looking for an Archer. They're just out of your northeast, about 1.5 miles inbound for the straight in.
It's such a cool perspective. Goodness.
Aviator 75
So Pleasant Valley Airport is right there.
Yeah.
Cherokee 507 Alpha Fox, you're following
And you didn't fly out of there, right? Have you ever been to it? Or?
It's more of a glider airport, I think.
And it's closed, I think.
Yes.
David 52, traffic off your right, arc, turning final for the parallel.
It's David 52, thank you.
Angelo, thanks for this. This is wonderful.
You're welcome.
This is really great.
Airson 150, you're following company arc, 12 o'clock, mile and a half.
It's awesome for me.
Following that traffic, Airson 150. David 40, turn base.
All right, your turn to fly. We're going to go.
They're heading to your left about 2 miles in the base, turn 107 left, clear to land.
7 left, clear to land, we'll be looking.
We can go over to the lake,
204 to the go around, flash straight out.
and you're turning that way, right? So you just.
Airson 945, you're number 4, you're following arc, 107 left, clear, touch and go, then make left traffic.
7 left, clear, touch and go, number 4, traffic at sight, left close, Airson 945.
Interesting how sensitive it is.
We are doing a touch and go followed by a short approach, Airson 150.
Airson 150 short approaches are on request. You're number 5, you're following Archer ahead, about a mile and a half, runway 7 left, clear touch and go, then make left traffic. Short approaches on request.
7 left, clear touch and go, and then left close traffic. If you can, we'd like that touch for that short approach. If not, it's okay, Airson 150.
This is when it's really fun, when it's smooth like this.
Air 75, you say you want Scottsdale after this?
Yeah,
Pleasant Harbor.
Air 75, roger again, extend down when you're following Archer, about a 5-mile final.
We're going to climb 100 feet below. There's a guy, so we're going to climb up. You can go, pull up.
Airson 204, follow the Cherokee. They're heading to your left, mile and a half.
You see somebody in front of us? Any airplanes?
I don't.
Airson 945, you might see a Sirius off your right wing, right base from the south side.
Airson 945.
Northwest practice area, runway Saratoga over Lake Pleasant, 5,000. Heading northwest.
Northwest practice area, so 993 north side of Lake Pleasant, 4,500. We'll descend down for the Saratoga traffic. Northwest.
Oh, good. So he's like right below us. Look how nice this is. That's the heading. We have to go up that way. So you see Humphreys Peak?
Yeah, I do.
We'll point that way. Now you've lived. You've flown a Saratoga.
That's right.
You're like JFK Jr.
Wait, that didn't end well for him.
No. Well, no, you like he was. That's what he had, a Saratoga. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
That's why it's brought it up. I normally don't bring that up until we land and we're back home. But I figured you fly F-15 fighter pilot.
There you go.
So did you started a church from scratch, right?
Yep, you bet.
Coming from a different church, or
Well, yeah, I was an associate pastor at a church just outside of Toronto, and but my background was I left a business career to do that.
You left business to be a pastor?
Yeah, and so I did that as an associate for like 6 years or so, and then I had this business guy kicked in me, in that I really wanted to start something. And so the opportunity came to go to Phoenix, start, and so my family, that's my wife and 3 kids, 12, 10, and 8 at that time, Glendale. That's where we just felt God was leading us.
And you've never been down here, or were you?
As a 13-year-old kid, I visited here, but that was it.
And that's it, and then you come to Glendale.
Yep, and then we just started. We started meeting our neighbors, and yeah. Yeah, and so that's how we started. Started really small. Started to meet our neighbors, built some friendships. How am I doing an elevation? Is that where you want?
Yeah, no, go up. We'll go to. Actually, you know what? We'll go to 7,500.
Okay. Yeah, and so as we met our neighbors, we built a bit of a core team. Did that for 9 months, and then we launched publicly at a theater at 59th and Bell Road. AMC 10 theater.
So that's how you start. You go around, you meet people, like actually door to door kind of thing, or just you're at a community.
That was not the original plan to go door to door, because that's not our personality.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to be associated with groups that did that.
Right. Yeah.
But that we just needed to meet more people. And so the first summer that we were here, we visited 600 families. And out of that, 143 wanted to be on a mailing list.
So how do you visit them? That's what I'm saying.
So on a Friday, I took our community and I broke it up into about 80 to 100 homes. Friday night, Elfie and I would go out and walk our neighborhood, and we would pray for the families that lived in those homes that we would visit the next morning. And so if we saw kids' furniture out front, we assumed, well, there's kids that live here, and we would pray that these families would be blessed by Jesus, that they would raise really good citizens, and if we had a chance to introduce them to Jesus, if they didn't know him, we would really like that opportunity. And so then Saturday morning we would get up. We had a clipboard with a question on it, and we would cry because we so didn't want to do this. Like, I mean, really, like, just so did not want to do this.
Yeah.
And we would walk out the door and knock on the doors, ring the doorbells of the homes that we had prayed for the night before.
I thought you said you didn't do that.
We did.
No, you did. You had to do it. You didn't want to. Yeah.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
And
you sure you're not a pilot? Like you did it. Right.
So if we asked, we just simply said this: we're starting a new church in the area. Are you part of a church family? And if they said yes, we'd say, well, what do you love about your church? Teach us, because we would like to learn from you. And they gave us some answers that weren't surprising. It's where our family's always gone. It's love the pastor, the kids program is great, or whatever it was, right?
Did I trim it too much?
Nope, you're good.
I want to trim it for you, so you just... Are you okay flying it, or?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's cool. And so about 50% of the people were in that category, but another 50% said they didn't go anywhere. And of that, another 80% said they had at one time but would never go back. And so now we were curious, why would that be? And they gave us their answers. Number one reason they gave us was that the church doesn't make any difference.
Oh, wow.
We wouldn't care if it's here or not. They never do anything good in our community. So coming from a business background, I had put together a full business plan and strategies and tactics and branding and mission and all that stuff. I realized I was way off target. I just needed to start over again. And so after the fourth weekend of hearing that, I said, Jesus, this doesn't make any sense. When you were here, you were interesting and compelling, and you were a force for good, and you healed people, and you taught life-giving kinds of things, and people from around the area flocked to be near you. Why isn't that the case here? Because when you left, you said your church should be mistaken for you. So if you'll help us figure out how in the world we could be mistaken for you and be a force for good and earn the right to tell people about you, we would be so honored, but we don't know how to do that right now. So that's where we started with our core group. How do we do this? How could we love our neighbors in a way that they would go, is that what Jesus is like? Because if he is, I think I want to know him. And that's what we've been doing these 27 years.
Wow.
Trying to figure that out. Because, culture changes and neighborhood environments change. Right? So...
Well, I like how you said that, trying to figure it out 27 years later. Still,
yeah.
I mean, you got to constantly do that.
Yeah, because things like global pandemics happen, and a really fractious election happens, and that all shapes a community, right? And so how do you represent Jesus in those settings?
So when you do that, you're obviously, it's just like starting any business, like with me starting my business, you have to have some capital to keep you going. So did you have to do that? Did you have to like save a ton of money and say, hey, it's going to take me a year to, at least a year, right? To start, so you have to, and you're moving, and you're going different, right?
Yep. So
is that what you did, or?
We found an organization that is charitable to church plants. And so they contributed some funds over the course of 3 years. They probably put $150,000 into it.
Oh, no way.
Some of it we were able to pay them back.
Yeah.
Because we really wanted to, but the rest of it they granted to us. And then we raised funds, whoever we could tell the story to that was interested in participating, friends and whatnot. And then I don't tell people this, it doesn't really matter, but we cashed in all of our retirement funds.
Yeah.
That we could help fund this thing. And, you know, that was a really good thing to do because we were all in at that point.
You have to.
There's no backing out. There's no stepping down it. There's, like, in the business world, there's lots of business guys that do that. They mortgage their home.
I did that,
right?
yeah. Like you said, don't get into debt. Well, you know, that you have to save for your 401k. And, well, what's your goal? Is if you create something, you gotta...
exactly right. So, you know, I think Jesus could have just provided funds, but we wouldn't have the kind of love and ownership for it that we have if we hadn't been the ones that invested in it.
Yeah, how do you ask somebody to invest in you when you're not willing to do that?
Exactly right, yeah.
And what kind of business were you in before that you had this kind of mentality?
So, I started my first business when I was 18. I was building homes.
What?
So I was...
Is that like what your dad did, or is it...
It's what I learned to do in high school. So it was my job in high school, framing up, like, not doing the whole build, but framing up the wood structure and all that, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be an architect. And so in Canada, there aren't quite the same scholarships there that there are here.
And where in Canada? Toronto?
Just outside of Toronto, yeah. So I knew I needed to work for a year, make as much money as I could, so that I could pay for my first year. And so I looked for a place in Canada that was booming, where I could build, work as hard as I could, make as much as I could. And I found this place in northern British Columbia. And I went there and worked for a guy for 3 months, and I realized I am making him a ton of money. I can do this. So Buddy and myself started a company framing houses, and I made so much money. And I spent it all.
And you spent it all.
I didn't have the maturity.
Yeah.
And then I got injured, and I couldn't do that work anymore. So I moved to a larger city in Canada, got surgery on my leg, which I'd torn up. And now I realize I probably can't do the physical work of building houses. I've got to figure something else out. So I started working at an entry level for a building supply company like a Home Depot.
Yeah.
Worked for them for 12 years. And then that company was bought out by another company. And, you know, they always say this, I know this is the corporate world, they want to hold everybody. So they tell everybody, you know, nobody's going to lose their job, everybody's going to stay. Well, I knew that wasn't the case. And so when the new executive vice president wanted to come see me one day, I knew he was coming to cut me loose, and he did. And so now I had to decide what I was going to do. And that's when we moved to Ontario from Calgary and developed a sales territory for a window company.
What's the window company?
It was called Lowen Windows.
Okay.
Yep. And then we joined a church. And it was during that time that the pastor asked me whether I would leave my business career and join the church. And I ultimately, reluctantly, but agreed.
And did you grow up Christian? Like you grew up
I grew up
reading the Bible?
Yeah, I grew up in a wonderful family that's what we did. And
so when you do that, they say become a pastor, did you go to like what is it, theology school, whatever it's called?
I went to seminary.
Seminary.
Yep.
You did?
Yep. I did it over the course of some time.
And 4,500 over Rio Verde community.
But you know, I'll tell you, Angelo, I learned more in my business career that's been helpful as a pastor than seminary.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like seminary teaches you how to read the Bible, study the Bible. Yeah. But when you're planting a church, so much of those business principles that you lean on, like how to put a budget together, how to put a strategy together, how to be tactical, and you know, and that's been so helpful. I think God prepared me through that business career.
Interesting that you worked for a window company. My family owned a glass company.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So your dad and mom, whatever, they weren't entrepreneurial, or like how did you become So like my dad brought me up saying never work for anybody. That's why I have a license plate that says own biz. He always says have your own business, own biz, you know.
Yep.
But I don't see too many people that they're being indoctrinated. Hey, don't ever work for anybody.
That's true.
Was that your case or no?
My dad was a mechanic. He owned his own repair shop.
Oh, so he did own his own business. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, my mom was a bit entrepreneurial as well, and that they at some point decided to open a restaurant as well. So they did that together for a while. So I think I just grew up in that environment where you be creative and you add value.
He said something like, well, you like doing that. You like prospecting. And I said, I hate it.
I agree with you.
I did it because it meant I could get to this point. I had to do it. Just like you were saying, I didn't want to go knocking on doors or talking to people. I was, that's a total opposite. I was shy. I was voted most shy in junior high,
Yep.
But I wanted to impact people. So if you're going to impact people, right, if you're going to go do what you're saying, I mean, you got to be bold.
Yep, you do. And you can't be an entrepreneur without taking risk.
No,
you just can't.
It's impossible.
If you're going to look for the safe route, then just work for someone else.